Hey there, toy collector friends and Batman fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the Triple TC, the time traveling toy collector, and this is another entry into the Batman Automobilia collection from Eaglemoss and Hero Collector, this time representing Batman Begins. This is the Tumbler, as it was known, but it's of course the iteration of the Batmobile that was associated closely with Christian Bale's iteration of Batman within the Christopher Nolan range. So again, this is part of the extensive Batman Automobilia collection. I do have some others in this in a Batman Automobilia playlist. By all means, check those out. And whilst you're doing that, why not quickly like the video and also drop a subscription to the channel? It'd be super welcome. It's a small click for you, but it means an awful lot to me. And if you want, I'll hold it on for a second whilst you do that. All done? Fantastic. Thank you so much. Moving swiftly along. So again, we have this. For some reason this doesn't want to stay standing up. I think it's from when I loosened the lid so I can just take it off for ease. But again, it's another one of those really nice crystal cased vehicles. Obviously I'm going to get the crystal case off in a second. This is just for a quick turnaround so you can get a sense of some of the looks and the angles of this version of the Batmobile. It does come, as you can see, with our ever popular, let's just slip this off, and as it falls to its doom, ever popular lenticular covers. Let me just pop this out of the way here so it's safe, and we'll have a look at the lenticular cover. Boom. Cover, lenticular backdrop. So here we have a little bit of Gotham. Now this is nice because you can actually see when I bend it, the impact of that lenticular effect. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, as you'll know. And again, if I move it along, you can kind of see how it adapts and adjusts as you look straight onto it. It's the Gotham skyline. You've also got the Gotham sort of monorail there, quite key towards the end of the film, the Batman Begins film. Spoilers, perhaps. But yeah, it's nice, it works, it's there. We'll pop that over there at the back for now, and then we move on to the main event itself. Now again, like a lot of the early releases, and this was, I believe, if I remember rightly, one of the early releases, there's a little bit of something extra inside the set. Here we've got like this sort of rooftop. It's in transparent plastic, so it's giving us a little bit of rooftop vibes, like a skylight, maybe a bit of a vent there. You can see, hopefully you can see. It just sets the tone. Say the Tumbler's rolling around on the roofs. You can see there's some roof tiles on the base as well. Hopefully you can see that picked out on the camera. But yeah, let's take it. So there's no figures. There's no sort of static figures or anything else. It's literally this little thing to the foreground and the lenticular display. So let's get up close and personal with the Tumbler. Well, as always, it's fixed to the base with some screws, which you can hopefully see there. They are unscrewable, but I don't tend to do that. Just for safety's sake, really, and I'd probably lose the screws. I am dreadful. And we can see an awful lot of the mechanics of this. I hope you can see that. If you look inside there, you can see some sort of copper coloured attachments around the axles there. I mean, obviously it's mostly in that sort of black, which you would want if you're Batman. It doesn't necessarily have a bat motif or a bat style to it, because this is obviously the early days of Batman. The wheels, of course, don't move because they're fixed. It is a fixed model, but it does have some really lovely of this copper color that's used to pull out. I don't know if you can hopefully see it there as well, in the wheels there. There's around either side. It is a bit of a mirror of itself, but there's some beautiful use of copper to give us some detailing around the paneling, around these fins at the back, actually on the fins. So if I come this side, you can see a bit more of that. Let me go in a tad closer. There you go. We can see this copper plating here, which is lovely. We do, of course, see some silver in and amongst it. We've got the nice thruster at the back. Really chunky looking wheels here. Again, they don't move. These panels, of course, don't move, but it's worth pointing out that whilst it's a combination of die cast and plastic, these are very plastic and they feel very flimsy. So however you would want to display this, as ever, please be mindful it's not a toy proper. It will not take robust play. It will break. And, you know, since the demise of Eaglemoss and Hero Collector, it's hard to gauge whether you'd ever actually find them again. Although they do crop up occasionally online. But this is, again, it's one of those really nicely done pieces, I think. Because it really captures and evokes the particular tone of the movies. I think all the Batmobiles that we've seen so far do that. And I think this sort of brought in that kind of heavy-duty, real-world, transferable technology of the Batverse. So, you know, you had the Wayne Enterprises working on R&D products. This is a multi-terrain assault vehicle that they were developing, and, you know, it does come in sort of sandy desert ambush colours. And actually, there were two other versions of this released in the range. I think it was two. One which is the Tumbler essentially in its original deco, but also the Tumbler that's used by, spoilers, major spoilers, skip ahead 10 seconds now, used by Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, where he has one with a gun attachment to it. That was also released. And I do have both of those, so at some point we'll check them out maybe. Might do them side by side as a double video. Possibly bring this back in. But it's kind of compact. You can sort of see, I hope you can. I don't know if you can. There's a nice reflection here, which is where the canopy, the cockpit, if you like, is. You can see it again here and here at the front. It catches the light, so you can see that's where the canopy, the cockpit is. But what I do like is these, and I'll see if I can do it by showing you with the tweezers, is the multi-layered paneling. Now again, it's plasticky, so I don't want it to chip, and I want to be very careful. And you do have these very thin edges to it, these very thin, I hope you can see that there behind my finger. It's very fragile, very fragile, which is a bit ironic given the beating that these things take in the movies and in the cartoon and comics and cartoons, etc. But in the real life model of this, it does feel quite fragile. Actually, I think it feels like one of the most fragile. It's not the most fragile entry. I will probably show you that at some point. It was the only one that actually arrived with me that was broken, and I had to get a replacement. And it's super fragile, and yeah, it terrifies me. But I think I'll bring that one out in the near future. But I love the detailing of the multi-layered paneling. So a lot of this paneling is defensive and adjustable for defensive purposes, and obviously protects that canopy. But I really like how they could have not bothered capturing some of this, and the vents and the visors around the front. There's an awful lot of detail in here, and I think they do an absolutely wonderful job of presenting that to us and giving us the access to having this up close and personal. I personally really appreciate that. Apologies, because obviously because everything's painted so dark, I'm trying to keep it as in the light as possible, but I suppose that's part of the charm of it, is that you can't really see all that much because it's painted dark for a reason. There's a lovely sort of D-ring here, which in my head is so it can tow stuff, but I don't think we ever really found out what that was for. And of course it blows apart, and this one doesn't. It blows apart and will convert into the Bat Pod. I believe it's referred to, the Bat Pod, which is lovely. They did produce a Bat Pod, and again, something else I will show you at some point in the future. The Bat Pod is one of those items that 100% solidify my reason for not collecting some of their more not collecting some of their more humanoid figures, because I'll show you it when it comes to it. The Batpod Batman, because obviously it's like a motorcycle, and they actually, whereas some of the other motorcycles, in fact all the other motorcycles that they enter into this range do not have riders, the Batpod has Batman on it. That is perhaps one of the single biggest mistakes they have ever made. It is absolutely the worst move they could have made. Dreadful, 100% awful, and really solidified my reason for going, well, I'm not collecting for example Doctor Who figurines, because if this is what the people look like, no thank you, I can do better with plasticine. In fairness, I can't, but that's not the point. So anyway, this has been a little bit of a whistle-stop tour of the Batman Begins Tumbler model of Batmobile. Again, I think it's a really lovely design. I think they capture the effect of it beautifully. I think it makes for a lovely display piece. It stacks up nicely with the other Batmobiles. I think they've done an excellent job of not over-decoing it. I think some of the actual toys of the time had that thing which is always ridiculous, but you understand why they do it from a branding point of view, where they stick on Bat logos and this, that and the other. There weren't their Bat logos for this film as such. You know, that's not what this was, but the need to brand is very important. But they've gone and they've maintained, I think you can see there, hopefully you can, those pulled out in silver, the massive suspension type of what I'm taking as massive suspension springs to try and support that back part of the tumbler. I think it's a beautiful piece. I'm not a technical wizard, so if they're actually something else, by all means let me know in the comments. Whilst you're in the comments, let me know if this is one of your favourite Batmobiles. It's certainly, I think, one of the iconic big screen Batmobiles. What's your favourite Batmobile? Do you know if your favourite Batmobile was released in the Batman Automobilia range? Because if it was, I will have it. And if you drop a message in the comments below, I can try and prioritise some of your favourite Batmobiles to have a look at. Let me know which ones you'd like me to show, and I will find it, if it's in the collection, do it and give you a shout out for requesting it. And no, you don't have to have joined the Patreon page for that. That's from me to you as a thanks for watching the video and liking the video, because I'm assuming you've liked the video now, and obviously subscribing to the channel. In all seriousness, I am trying to get to my next subscription milestone, so if you can, please subscribe. That would be hugely appreciated. But if not, I understand. You're a busy person with things to do, and that's absolutely fine. Anyway, thanks for spending the last 13-14 minutes with me. I hope this has given you an insight into what this model looks like and whether it's something that belongs in your collection. Only you really know. But you know, if you like Batman, you like Batmobiles, it's a safe bet. I hope you managed to pick it up the first time around. Otherwise, if you are a collector looking in the wild, probably conventions, Comic Cons, things like that, you might be able to pick one up without starting to pay crazy online prices. But equally, people will charge what people will pay. So, you know, think about that before you invest too much. Have a little scour around. Anyway, I've been the time traveling toy collector. You've been a wonderful audience, and this has been the Batman Begins Batmobile, aka the Tumbler, from Eaglemoss and Hero Collector. And all it remains for me to say is that I look forward to seeing you in a future video, and that a thing of beauty really is a toy forever. Take care. Bye bye for now.